So as you can see by the title, the reason I made this video is because when it comes to pre-workouts, fat burners, any form of supplementation that gives you energy and provides you something that benefits you in the gym, there has to be a reason for taking it. And as somebody that has years of experience from taking stimulants in the gym, I don't do any drugs outside of it. I've tried many different generations of different pre-workouts, many different ingredients, fat burners, etc. I've reviewed probably 70 plus of them now. But I've also worked out majority of my workouts taking no pre-workouts. So I feel like I'm at that stage now where my advice for those that are either thinking about starting using some pre-workouts, or somebody that's maybe been using pre-workouts and wondering whether they've got the right one, or maybe they need to stop using them, maybe this is a video that could help you. So why do pre-workouts exist is probably the most important question. The way that I see it, a pre-workout is meant to be nothing more than an assistant to getting you inside the gym and performing better. It shouldn't be your only source of motivation. So if you're somebody that cannot get through a workout without pre-workout, you have to think why you're training to begin with, and maybe you need to look for something else for you to do in terms of physical activity that you'll enjoy more, so you don't require the need for pre-workouts. Now, before we get onto who should take it and when to take it and all that jazz, I think it's more important to talk about who shouldn't take it. So first and foremost, if you're somebody with health issues, if you get anxiety from caffeine, if you get stomach problems from taking it, because remember, a lot of these supplements will contain a bunch of different ingredients. So it's not just one thing, it's not just caffeine and a couple of pump ingredients and you're good to go. A lot of these pre-workouts might have 10 to 15 different ingredients, not including the, colorings, the, processed bullshit that also can come along with it. So if you have any health issues, make sure when you take it, and if something arises, you connect it to that pre-workout and then realize it might be time to stop for it. The second one, and this is a very, very important one, and people might have a bit of a to this, but it's addicts. So, and by addicts, I mean people that get way too addicted way too quickly to things, because some pre-workouts have gray area ingredients. So Araya Genesis, DMAA, DMHA, alpha-yohimbine, etc. Some pre-workouts also come with an excess of 400 plus in terms of caffeine for one serving. If you're somebody that gets addicted very easily, realize that if you're working out, 3 to 5 times a week or more, that's a lot of stimulants you're going to be putting into your body. So maybe pre-workouts aren't for you. You might be somebody that's better off using something non-stimulant based, maybe like a pump formula and just a cup of coffee. That might be better for you. The third one is for those that get side effects. And side effects do occur. And any one of us that have reviewed many of these products, from TJ to, Gym Garage Homie Review Bros, Supplement Throwdown, Hims reviews, like all that, we have all had sides from, whatever the pre-workout may be. Know yourself, know what product you're taking, and know when you should stop taking it. Some people, as an example, will use a very strong pre-workout and they will assume that that one off that they had with it, where they had crazy energy, felt amazing, euphoric, etc., that will be replicated in every single session. That is not the case. That couldn't be further away from the case. As an example, this is just one of them. This is like a Stim Junkie pre-workout, as they would refer to it, Dark Energy. I don't believe it exists anymore. But it is an amazing pre-workout. You take it, you feel on top of the world. You will for that session, but if you keep taking it, you will no longer feel that, and you need to know when to get off of it. It's like anything. 1 cup of coffee a day might serve you some justice and help you out in your life for work, etc. But if you're relying on 6 cups of coffee a day, which I know many of you are, you got to think, is that a problem? Now, those are the 3 categories for those who shouldn't. Let's talk about who could benefit. Because remember, I don't believe you have to take it, and I don't believe you should take it, but I do think some people can benefit from taking it. First and foremost, it's those that don't seem to get negative effects from it. So if you take them and you've been taking them for years, and you've never had an issue with it, it doesn't fuck with your sleep, it doesn't mess around with your hormones, anything, continue taking. You're probably not going to run into anything too heavy. Maybe take a stim break every couple of months. Early morning workers. As somebody that usually does his workouts early morning just before he's about to go to work, I find that a pre-workout in the morning, just a basic caffeine and maybe some nootropic one, helps me a lot. And I'm not talking about anything too hard, too, powerful, just something basic, something as simple as like a Rise Sunny D, a fucking Gorilla Mode, and there's many of them. I'm not trying to advertise any of these. I've got no fucking money to be made from it, but these are just basic examples. They'll give you a big kick of energy, nothing too crazy, and it translates to the rest of my work week, or my work day, sorry. So I think that helps. I think it can definitely benefit those individuals. Now, the next one is, if it's your only source of caffeine, I'm a firm believer that if you're having energy drinks and coffees throughout your day, which once again, I know many of you are, you really should not also be adding in more caffeine and more stimulants from a pre-workout source. Think of it like this. It's hard to find a pre-workout these days that's under 300 milligrams of caffeine. Most energy drinks are anywhere between 150 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. If you're mixing and matching plus having a coffee, you're having roughly 600 plus milligrams of caffeine on a daily. I just think that's way too much. I'm not saying it will be for everybody, but I don't think there's ever a case where you should be having 600 milligrams of caffeine regularly. The next one is for big sessions, okay? If you're somebody that has, in a training block, a few really hard sessions, that could help, okay? Taking something which motivates you, lifts you up, boosts you, and gets you through that big session, not in a way that if you didn't take it, you couldn't get through the session, but more so in a way of like, you can go past what you thought you couldn't before, okay? Most people take even a black coffee or 2 shots or 3 shots. They don't take pre-workouts. So understand that they do have a place, and that big session might be your place. Now, the next one I want to cover is the high stim pre-workouts, okay? This, for one, I don't believe they're for everybody, okay? If you're somebody who tends to get negatives from pre-workouts in general, definitely don't try these. There's basically 2 categories I can put them in. You've got your medium high, which is something like this. This is a perfect pre-workout in my opinion. It's got nothing too absurd, but it does have 300 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous and then 100 milligrams of decaffeine malate. So it's 375 milligrams in total. But it does have alpha-yohimbine and a couple of other things in there. No DMAA, no DMHA, etc. It's a medium high stim. You wouldn't want to use it on a daily, but it hits very nicely and it pushes you quite well. Then you've got stuff like Dark Energy, Excelsior, Crack, Edge of Insanity, all these different pre-workouts, which they will contain DMHA, Araya Gerensis, DMAA, DMBA, alpha-yohimbine, English walnut, and there's many different fucking variants that they'll put them in. I believe that these should only be used maximum 1 to 2 times a week. 2 times is pushing it because it becomes quite a reliance on people. And I think these should only be used for one-off big sessions or long sessions, because some of these products will work for quite a while. So if you're starting to get used to the feeling of these products, then you've pushed the boundary a bit too much, okay? That's when you need to back off, maybe just do normal caffeine, a normal cup of coffee, and see how that works for you. Now, if anything, I hope this video has been just a little bit informative. You can spread out your usage of these supplements in whichever way you want. If you want to ask anybody good questions about using these in athletic kind of ventures, there's nobody better than Supplement Throwdown for that. For one, he's one of the most knowledgeable guys just to begin with. He's an MMA competitor. The guy trains, sometimes upwards of 2 to 3 times a day, long cardio sessions, lifts heavy weights. He's a guy to turn to, Supplement Throwdown that is. Pop him a question of, I'm a netball player, I'm a basketball player, I play football, I play whatever it is, but I also go to the gym. How do you think I could maybe space out those type of things? I have some experience in it, but I'm not as qualified in it. For me, I tend to find that when I did boxing and when I do combat type of sports, I don't need much for it. If anything, I want to keep my heart rate low and ease into it. Whereas for my big workouts, lifting heavy weights, that's when I use it. But that's just my attempt at it. Now, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions, leave them down. I tend to answer just about everything I can in detail as well, because it's a small channel. I don't really give a fuck about it in the sense of there's no money involved in it, except for the ones I spend for the supplements. But it's more so just like a fun community thing for me. All right, hope you enjoy that. Peace.